Hey everyone, it's Simon from Hyperplane Games. Hope you're having a grandiose day. Welcome to Ski Hard Lorsbruck 1978. A interesting skiing game which could be great if some bits of it were sorted out. And I'm going to talk you through it. Thank you for the developer for sending me across a copy to take a look at. As always, people know that this does not necessarily... Well, it doesn't sway my judgment at all. It doesn't necessarily go over the developer all the time either. We have 4 different skiers that you can choose from. They are like paper thin. It's like they've been taken out of a Katamari game. But I really like the overall aesthetic of this game in general. Although it does throw up some issues. I'm going to start off with the Jolene course. And let's go for Annie Go because it's like the middle of the runner. Use the arrow keys or WSAD to move around. Forward, up to go forward, left and right to kind of go around, and down to kind of slow yourself down. Although if you're in the air, it just orientates the skier to try and land back on its skis again. The timing that you've got... we're going to miss a thing here, which will give you a penalty. 2.5 second penalty per gate at that. The timing on the bottom right hand corner shows you your position in terms of where you're supposed to be with the game, and that's kind of what helps you with your progression going forward. It's not the online leaderboard, although you will end up seeing that you can see everyone with that kind of, I suppose it's a pretend Lorsbruck anthem there. It's like we're all a ski team all going for gold, so you can see where I am compared to Olaf, which is by far the fastest skier of the 4 if you can control him. He's like a tank round corners, but he's so fast on the straights that actually if you can keep him going in the right direction, he'll do everyone else out by like 10 seconds per run. And that's the first issue that you've got, is that the skiers are heavily weighted, so that really Olaf, if you're going for top scores, is really your only person to go for, at least early on. Maybe in the more tight and twisty, crazy later stages, it's slightly different. So we placed 10th there. We had 1 miss and so on and so forth. You get some stats up on the top, which is great, and you get to race again or dive back to the menu. And when you go back to the menu, you can see where you are in terms of your game. But you can also see where you are in terms of global as well. So my fastest Olaf is in 17th there in that specific mode. And you can see where you are online, kind of elsewhere with what you expected to do. Green runs are obviously the easiest as you go along. But it must be said, and let's go for Olaf this time because he's generally faster, that there are some real issues with the way how this game works. So first of all, the camera is really floaty. I don't know if we'll see it necessarily here, but yeah, so if we... I was going to try and get off track there, but it didn't really work. That's the other problem. Watch out for your respawns, because it respawns you in the kind of direction and posture that you came through the gate in originally. So if you were just like bounding through, and we've missed a gate by the way, then it's going to keep resetting you awkwardly all the time, which kind of ruins your run, as you can see here. You've also got exceptionally woolly controls, and let's restart this so that we can have a proper go. And floaty is not the word. It's like you're flying through. You've got no resistance on anything whatsoever, and then if you're not start that again. If you're not actually pressing forward, then it's just an extreme left right, as if you're playing on a game of Pong. It's really weird. And the way how the graphics are done, I really like the graphical look and feel of the game, but it does not lend itself well at all to any kind of gradient effects that go on in the landscape. So you could be going over what looks like a completely straight piece and flat piece of, or smooth I guess is the right word, piece of snow, but you'd never know it because you can't see the indentations of what's going on. That's annoying. Let's try that one again. And so what quickly looks like a fun like ragdoll physics type game is actually quite infuriating, because you feel like it's going out of its way to get you, and it will like buckaroo you out on the later tracks through like weird physics that you can't see, and so you're kind of thinking, well, what the hell do I do now? And that gets really, really frustrating over time. So those are what the green ones look like. Let's dive to the blue ones. Let's go for Jacques. And let's go for Cress, so that you get to see. I mean, they don't look any different. But actually, here's a very good example of where the camera can't really keep up with undulating tracks. So I'm now mega far forward, but I can't necessarily work out exactly where I'm landing all the time. And yes, there is some gradient. I'm having to steer into it, but I can't necessarily see it happily. And this bit here, I think it will flip me. Nope, I was off the gas at the right time. You just kind of think, well, how do I get round stuff? So this has actually gone remarkably well for me so far. Forward in all the right places. But there are moments, I've spent a long time moaning about the game, but there are moments where it works really well, and bits like this where you're going through it just reminds me of Journey, to be fair, and other things like that where you're just trying to casually get yourself down a mountain. This bit works really well, and there are moments where you're like, this could actually be not too much of a bad game. But I feel like the effects of having a wooden person is just to get away from having to do any animation for crouching or any kind of jumping animation, and it cheapens the whole effect, because actually the way how things work in the game visually and stylistically, everything else kind of comes into effect, but it just feels cheap that there is no crouching effect or anything like that whatsoever. As you can see, only 6 people have made it through that. Let's try a black run just to see what on earth they're like, because I've kind of stopped here, and let's go for Una. Go. Let's go for the moose. Dear, people look like they've really struggled on this in the global one. So off we go. So yeah, I feel really, really conflicted with this game. There is something good here if they could just add some weight to the mechanics of how you bounce around on these slopes, because it feels so unnatural, and not in a like comedic fun way. It just feels too light to understand. If you take your finger off forward and just kind of coast your way down, it feels better. And there you go, there's an example of where actually there is a slight bit of colour gradient to tell you that was a dip going on. But like this, you're kind of like, well, what? It just feels ill-informed. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, this is not going to be your finest skiing game, I think, that will come out. And yesterday I was reviewing Just Ski, and where did that come from? Where did that come from? There's a good example. I'm so glad that happened whilst I was recording. Let's try and go up here. Let's go moguls. Nope, you can't. Oh well, can we get round that way? Will the camera like it? Probably not. No, it's not too bad. So yeah, it's frustrating because there is something here, but as you can see, really frustrating. Things that I do like, if I just dive out into the menu again, I love the music. I do like the aesthetic of the thing itself. I like the fact that there are mega events and hardcore events to unlock. I don't understand the total completion percentage at all, because it doesn't seem to bear relevance to anything that you're actually doing as to what is acceptable or not, because it says 20% completed, but I've only got a 5th position and I've completed the run with the other lot. What's red, what's black, what is it winning everything? Don't know. And yeah, it just seems like Olaf is completely overpowered, as you can see in the scoreboards. If I go to everywhere else, there's a couple that have popped in there with Annie, because Annie's the one that you start off with, or you can go for first, I guess. But yeah, frustrating and rewarding in unequal measures is what I would say to this. Get a little bit of weight into the actual skiing mechanic, and this game I think would actually improve tenfold. As it is at the moment, I can't really currently recommend it unless you're a real hardcore gamer that likes those comedic physics type games. But even then, there are better versions of that around, even on skiing, as you saw with Just Ski yesterday. So thank you very much for watching here on High Plane Games. I'm sorry, developer, that I didn't necessarily enjoy the experience playing this, but thank you very much for letting me take the time to run through what I would do with it to improve it in the future. There'll be a written review on this over on higherplanegames.com next week. You guys take care. Bye for now. This channel is just one of my many projects that cover games, music and film. If you enjoy any of these and would consider supporting me to develop further in the future, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Satorimon. Thank you for your time and for watching the video.